Good afternoon, everyone. Happy Friday. Welcome to Tejano Virtual Events. This session will be on time management by Mission Del Paso counselor Pat Duran. This session will be recorded so that you may come back to it later if you need, and so others who may have missed out on today's events will be able to come and watch it. Thank you. So now, at this time, please mute your mics for the best sound experience, otherwise the feedback could interfere with information we will be sharing today. Without further ado, I'll pass it on to Mr. Duran so that we may begin.
Hello, hello. This is Pat Duran here, and I'm here to provide you a little workshop on time management and the importance of being effective with your time so you can succeed in college. We know that we all have the same amount of time, right? We all have 24 hours a day. We all have 168 hours in a week, and we can't save or steal time, right? Once we lose it, we lose it. We can't say, well, I'm going to save it for later. So once it's gone, right? So as we're looking at that, then today we're going to learn some strategies, right, on how to use your time wisely, effectively, and not just efficiently. So when we talk about that, what is the difference? Okay, you're efficient when you do things faster. You're effective when you do the right things at the right time, and you can avoid feeling overwhelmed and falling behind in school, right, and work or personal life, if you use your time effectively and you become a great manager of your own time. And it's not only managing your minutes and your hours, but also you thinking of what you could accomplish with an open, positive attitude that is focused, right, on growth and learning. And so we're going to start now with my slide here, and I guess I'm going to move it here. Let's see. How come it's not moving? Okay. So we talk about using time effectively. And so there's some questions that we would ask. The first question is, where does your time go? Think about that in just a minute. Where does your time go? Well, I do this, I do that, I get up, I do this, and then I do that, and then I do something else, and then I remembered I had to do this, and so forth, right? So where are you spending your time and your energy? Think about that. Secondly, when should your time go? Okay, where should your time go, right? And so what are your priorities is what you're thinking about there. And thirdly, what habits will help? Okay, what mindset and strategies create success is for you to think about, right? So we're thinking about those questions, and as we're doing that, then uh, we're looking at three types of time. Okay, we have the committed time, the maintenance time, and the discretionary time. You divide your time in those three categories so that you can prioritize and succeed and get to everything. When we talk about that, then we're talking about what is committed time. Okay, committed time then is let me see here. For some reason, my screen is really small and I can't seem to read it. There we go. Now I got it better. Committed time is devoted to school, lab, studying, work, commuting, family, and goals. And it reflects what is important to your career, your healthy relationships, and personal growth, what you value the most, right? It's a time that's dedicated to fulfilling our intermediate and long-term goals when we're thinking about goal setting. And we'll talk about that in just a little bit. Maintenance time then is a time you spend maintaining yourself and your environment, such as eating, sleeping, grooming, showering, styling your hair, cleaning your contact lenses, getting dressed, cooking, right? Cleaning, laundry, gardening, shopping, caring for others, bill paying. That's the time that you use that's called maintenance time. And it refers to the time it takes you to keep the routines of life going and so forth. Like I just mentioned, all of these, showering and grocery shopping and all that. The next one then is the discretionary time. Okay. And your discretionary time is yours to use as you please. Use it on the most important things in your life, your relationships with your family and friends, service to community, intellectual development, school, activities that give you joy and relaxation. It contributes to your physical, mental, and spiritual well-being. Tie into your long-term goals, being healthy, feeling centered, joyful, peaceful, and having loving relationships. So those are the 3 areas of time. Any questions on time on these types of time? Because we're going to be talking about them a little bit more. Any questions from anyone? No? Okay, so let's go on then. Now we talk about goal setting, okay? It's very important that you set goals. Make a commitment to what you want to accomplish, okay? Setting your goals. Daily goals should reflect long-term goals and values. What are you doing today to go towards your long-term goal, towards your intermediate goal? Important to have a realistic picture of what your goals are. Reflect constantly on how your daily activities are leading to larger goals, right? And then written goals help clarify what you want and can give you energy, discretion, and focus to put them into action, right? Specific goals you want to accomplish during your lifetime in all areas of your life, and that's 10 years or more. That's long-term goals, right? Education and career and so forth, as we talked about. So you brainstorm a little bit and you think about, okay, what do my dreams include? What do I see myself doing? What do I visualize myself doing in my future in 10 years, right? What I most want to accomplish, what do you want to accomplish in 10 years? And the places you most want to visit and one thing you've always wanted to do. Those are your long-term goals, right? Then we talk then next about intermediate goals. And we're going to talk about that in just a minute here. Hold on. Oops, I got mixed up here. Let's continue. And then we're talking about setting specific goals, right? And specific goals need to be specific. They need to be measurable. You have to measure it, right? It's observable and it's realistic. A goal is a target that motivates you and directs your efforts. Placing goals within timeframes can help you reach them. So part of time management is setting your goals and seeing where I'm going. What do I have to do today? What do I have to do tomorrow? What do I have to do next semester? What do I have to do to reach my goals within 10 years, my higher goals? Okay. Then we go on and we talk about the types of goals that I just talked to you about, the long-term goals that will be accomplished in 10 years, I just mentioned that. Now let's talk about intermediate goals, right? And intermediate goals are goals that you will be able to accomplish in the next 5 years, such as I want to complete my degree within the next 5 years. I will be getting a good paying job within the next 5 years. I will travel within the next 5 years. Those are intermediate goals, right? And then we talk about semester goals, or more along the lines of short-term goals. And let me see if I wrote that one down. Okay. And the next one I left out, which I think is very important, are your short-term goals. And I apologize for that, so I'll just mention them to you now. Short-term goals are that you want to accomplish them within 1 year, What is a major goal for which I am striving this year? Is this goal in conflict with any other goals, right? What hurdles must I overcome to reach my goals, right? And what resources, help, and support will I need to overcome these hurdles? And what specific actions are necessary to complete my goals? When we talk about resources, help, and support, that's where we're here. We need to use tutoring to help us succeed. We need to learn to manage our time and say, okay, I'm going to tutor for math from this time to this time, and I'm going to tutor for English from this time to this time, and utilize our resources. We're here to serve you, and you pay our salaries, and so we want to serve you. We've got so many different types of tutoring programs. We've got the regular tutoring program, we got the RAP program, we got the SSSP program, we got the RAP, PASS. What other one do we have? In our campus here at Mission, we have the writing center. So many different kinds of goals, so many different kinds of services that can help you. And then we talk then about semester goals. And the goals for this semester or a quarter of school, accomplishing semester goals will help you achieve your bigger goals. And what are we talking about that? We're talking about what's I will get to know my professor and this term and make new friends. That's a semester goal. I'm going to have my good relationship with my professor, and I'm going to make new friends in my classes. Always connecting, okay, because you're colleagues to one another. I will go to all my classes on time and be prepared. That's a good goal. Reading your chapters beforehand, taking notes, having questions for the teacher, I will exercise for 30 minutes every day. A goal for your wellness, for your health, a little bit of exercise, a little bit of gym, whatever helps you to get your mental state good, and exercise is healthy for you and for your heart. And so we talk about those kind of semester goals. And then we go on into, and right now I'd like to stop right here. Does anybody have any questions? Because what I'd like you to do, I'm going through this a little fast. I'm rushing through it. And I really would like you to think about how you're going to set your goals and how you're going to set your schedule of management, and remembering that goals have to be specific and measurable and observable and realistic. And a goal is a target that motivates you and directs your efforts, and also placing goals with timeframes can help you reach. And I think went back to this slide because I think that's very important, because I do talk a little fast, and I don't want you to miss what I feel is important for you to learn. Okay, so we talked about the 3 types of time, and that's important for you to know so that you're able to set your goals, and then you're managing your time as well. Okay. Then we talk about the next thing that we talk about is setting priorities, right? Prioritizing helps you focus your effort and time on activities that are most important, and allows you to have consistent effort on what is important instead of lots of activities, crises, and endless tasks, right? And that's important. So tasks or activities that must be accomplished by a specific date or a time to avoid negative consequences of time and money. That's what we talk about when we're talking about urgent priorities, right? And these tasks include dropping a class, paying your fees, paying taxes, turning in your papers, okay? That is what we have there in the area of urgent priorities. When we talk about important priorities, right? Essential tasks or activities that support a person's goals and can be scheduled with some flexibility, right? Important priorities, these activities and commitments include attending every class, creating study teams. It's so great for you to connect with your friends and make friends and start making little groups so that you can study together and help one another, and not piggyback on someone else, but being a part of it as well as with your team. Completing homework, forming healthy relationships, planning is very important on the daily. Planning on the day. What am I going to do today? I'm going to go to class from this time to this time, then I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do that. That's very, very important. And of course, we emphasize again wellness, exercising regularly. Okay. And then we go on to ongoing activities, necessary maintenance tasks that should be managed carefully so they don't take up much time. Okay. And so ongoing activities, as you go through your emails, your mail, phone calls, respond as necessary. Those ongoing activities, you respond as necessary because they take a lot of your time. And the important priorities, these activities and commitments include attending class every day, like I said, study teams. I think those things are so important. Making those connections with your mentors, with your tutors, with if you're a first time a student in college, with early alert, with the advisors, with the coaches, those things are so important to stay connected with us for your success, for us to serve you and help you in every way that we can so that you can be successful. That's what's important, okay? To me, okay? And people who spend time daily on important items prevent crises. That's very important there. Okay, any questions so far? Anybody want to share how you manage your time? What you do? Don't be afraid. Nobody? Okay. Okay, so then let's go on to the next part. Again, as we go about setting priorities, we're talking about trivial activities, non-essential tasks, or activities that are completely discretionary and do not directly support your personal goals, right? And the important thing here is you make up all the daily stuff of life that can be a major time waster. Activities such as chatting online, those are trivial things that take up your time. Chatting online, checking your phone. And how many of us are constantly looking at the phone and who's texting me and going like this with, Facebook or Messenger you all use, right? Checking your phone, looking up information, texting, checking Facebook and messengers, going to parties, shopping and watching TV, dealing with junk mail, both real and virtual. This quickly takes up your discretionary time, so you got to be careful with those things and limit yourself. Limit yourself. Okay, I'm going to do 1 hour of this kind of stuff, texting, responding to emails, and so forth. And the rest of the time, you have to go to classes, to study, and do more helpful things, right? And the key is to stay focused on your important top priorities and to schedule a certain amount of time for trivial activities, right? That's really, really important. Okay. Let's go on then. If anybody has any questions or wants to share anything at any point in time, please feel free to do so, okay? Because I don't have a problem with that whatsoever. Now we're going to come into some strategies, because that's what you want to use. Some strategies, to help you succeed in your classes. One of the most important things is keeping a calendar. Your teachers give you calendars of what's going to be doing, what's going to happen, and all this kind of stuff. Then you got to put your 2, 3, or 4 classes together on a daily, on a weekly, on a monthly, and so forth. And then on a daily, you should always create a to-do list. Today, I'm going to go to this class, and at this time, I'm going to go to the library, and at this time, I'm going to go study with my study group, and at this time, you have to be organized. If you don't get organized, you will feel overwhelmed, and you're going to go, I can't do it. Yes, you can. You can, so long as you learn to manage your time. That's what's important. Keeping calendars, making to-do lists are so very important to do that, right? And some tips could be that you use only one planner for work, school, and personal instead of having 3 or 4 different planners, record everything in it as soon as possible, right? Carry it with you all the time. Check in 3 times a day, such as breakfast, lunch, and bedtime, to see what you have scheduled. And that's really important, okay? That's time management strategies. You do the tough things first. You break projects down into smaller tasks, right? And that's pretty important, so that you can say, oh, today I'm going to do this. And a good example is when you're going to do a term paper, and you jot down the date and the key things you have to do. I have to explore the topic. I have to finalize a topic. I have to mind map my outline or just make my outline. My initial of library research, when are you going to do that? Your general outline, your more library research, your detailed library research, your detailed outlines, first drafts, all these things, getting organized and doing things a little bit of time to reach your goal of whatever is due, doing additional research and spell check, proof second drafts, revise, prepare final drafts and proofs, and paper finished and turned in. So you do your little timeline. Okay, for this project, I have to do this, this, and this. What if you have 2 different classes and you have 2 different term papers? That's a lot of work. So if you don't time yourself, I'm going to go to the library, and today I'm going to concentrate on this term paper for this class. And tomorrow I'm going to go and blah, blah. You have to divide, to manage your time. when you're in college, and especially if you're in an 8-week course, I don't know how many of you are in 8-week courses, but here in Mission, we're the 8-week campus. There is no time for mañana, al ratito, procrastination, no time. And in your 16-week classes, if you don't manage from the beginning, about halfway, you'll start giving up. And then you'll start talking about possibly dropping. We don't want that. We want you to succeed. We want you to use our services for your success. We want you to make the time that if you're lost, to get clear of what you have to do, to get guided, to help you with your math assignments if you're not sure. You're writing for them to help you proofread the work that you're doing. They're not going to do the work for you, but the writing center can proofread it and give you some suggestions and so forth. So those things are so very important, okay? So doing things breaking things into smaller tasks is what's most important when you've got the big projects. And what if you have 2 or more projects? That's kind of hard. Okay. Time management strategies, some more strategies. And I hope that you're taking notes of some of these strategies. The calendar, like your priority list for the day. Those are things that are important. Study in short segments throughout the day. Don't cram in marathon sessions. I'm a nursing counselor and a paramedic counselor. And so when I talk to students about studying, I tell them to study in intervals of 2 hours. And then you do one subject for 2 hours and you do whatever you have to do with no interruptions, no phone calls, no nothing, focus study. So then you do your 2 hours in math, and then maybe you'll do another hour in writing, but no more than 4 hours in a day because you just overload the brain. And you always alternate the subjects, okay? That's really important. You have to get organized. Having timelines is very important. This way you know that in the week of September 30th, I have to do all these things that are due. And by the end of October, I have to do all these things so that you stay and you're able to manage your time and do the work that you have to do. And you have to be flexible and patient and persistent, and always trying, well, I try to do this, but let me try this now, because you have to learn how it's going to work for you, how managing your time and how you're going to do it is going to work for you. That's real important. And they put things out there like online tutoring room. They can help you with those things. And then realize that you can't do it all. Sometimes we feel a little overwhelmed. Taking a deep breath, breathing in, holding it for about 5 seconds, and then blowing out through your mouth. Taking just a couple of those deep breaths just to relax you, because sometimes we get so overwhelmed that you want to give up. You're not going to give up. We're here to help you. We're here to serve you. And then creating a habit, of studying or so forth, is very important. So when we're talking about creating a habit of studying, for example, or managing your time or whatever it may be, you give yourself at least 30 days to develop that new habit, okay? The trigger would be, I got to study, okay? Your routine behavior is consistent study and practice hours. When you do your weekly schedule, you'll see that after you do some things that I'm going to talk to you about, you're going to have some gaps of time, and we'll talk about that in just a minute, okay? Then we talk about after you do your routine behavior, consistent study and practice hours, then you reward yourself. You got yourself a new skill, right? Or an academic success. You finished that project that you had to do, and then most important is when you have to practice and practice and practice. That's all part of the wheel of habit. You study it, you do have to do, and then most of everything you practice it, you repeat it over and over and over again. In a habit, and it takes you about 30 days of doing this before it really becomes a habit. Oh, I'm going to do it, and you do it for 2 times, it ain't going to be a habit. A habit is when you're doing it consistently, right? Okay. And this is the habit cycle for success, as I just mentioned to you. And it's just over and over. You do it over repetitively. Anything that you're trying to do as a habit, exercise, reading, whatever, you do the habit and you repeat it and repeat it. Okay. And now we talk about weekly planners. I think that is so very important. And I wanted to have provided you a schedule of time so that you could practice with it, but I didn't get a chance to do that. But I'd like to talk to you about it. Okay. Weekly planners. Practice writing down weekly goals and getting in the habit of reviewing events and deadlines for the week. Look at your course syllabuses, your calendars every week. What's going to happen this week in this class? What's going to happen in this other class? What's due? Is there a test? Do I have to provide something to the teacher? Do I have to prove that I'm going to tutoring? Whatever it may be. You start writing down everything you have to do for that week, creating your own weekly schedule, including times, days, and activities. And what I tell students, when you get that weekly schedule, you start working it. What do you work it? First off, you mark off your class time. So you've got your weekly schedule. Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays from 9 to 10, I'm in English, and you mark off 9 to 10, Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, English. And then Tuesdays, Thursdays, math from 10 to 11:40. So you could mark off your time for math. And so you mark off all your class time, your 2 classes, your 1 class, your 3 or your 4 classes, or some of you might even have 5. Mark off in your weekly schedule all your class time, your lab time. Then if you're working, you're going to mark off all your work time. I'm working from this time to this time this week. Because I hear from students, sometimes your schedules change, right? And at work. So you mark off your weekly schedule on your work time. Some go to church not only on weekends, but during the week. So that takes time. So mark off your church time in your weekly schedule, right? Your family time. It's important to have family time. Sometimes it's sitting down for dinner. Sometimes it's a quince. Sometimes it's doing something and celebrating, whatever it may be, right? Attending different activities here at the college, because we want you to be part of the family. We don't want you to just come to class and leave. No, we want you to be here. And I'm going to go to tutoring. I'm going to go to the library. And I'm going to go to the writing center. And I'm going to go to the parent room where I can study there, and I can bring my kid with me, and I can study there, and I can print my stuff there, and my little kids have something to play and watch TV or whatever. You have to monitor them, but at least you can bring them with you to the parent center, and you can study there and do the things that you need to do. Use us. We're here to serve you. I can't emphasize that enough. Okay. Then after you do your family time, if you have a significant other, you've got to give them time, or else they're going to say, you don't give me no time, right? And you're going to have the little arguments and stuff. You want to avoid all that. So you tell your significant other, this is a time I have for you. On Friday nights, we can go to a movie and dinner, blah, blah, blah. You tell them what you can do. And if they love you and they respect that school is important to you, they're going to accommodate how you think best that you can spend time with them, right? Also, time for yourself. When you exercise, when you bathe, when you're getting to school, when you're doing things for you, right? That you have to mark off those things too. And then anything else you can think of. I tengo que ir con el abuelo. I got to go to grandpa and I got to go help him with the yard. Mark off that time. I got to go to my abuela and I got to go do this. And I got to go pick up my little brother from the game. And I got to pick up my little sister from school. Whatever it is that you're doing, mark it off, because that's time that you're spending that you have to be accountable for. Because after you've done all of that, okay, then you're going to have these blocks of time that they don't have anything. They don't have nothing. And so in those globs of time is when you're going to put in your study time. Okay. And you're going to prioritize what's most important, and you're going to put in your study time there. And I always recommend, fill in the areas not marked off. Use your most alert time to do the hardest stuff. Okay, use your most alert time, right? Studying intervals of 2 hours, with 5-minute breaks every 25 minutes. Let the brain regurgitate the information, right? And after 2 hours of studying, give yourself 1 to 2 hour break, and then you repeat, right? Give yourself a break. Let the brain regurgitate what you just studied. Be focused studying. Don't have people around you. Don't have the TV on. You're focused studying, That's what's very important, okay? Any questions so far? Am I going too fast, Pat? Is Pat there? No questions? Okay. Well, let's go. Let's continue then. Okay. Overcoming obstacles. Stop procrastination. Whoa. Ese procrastination. Mañana, ratito, later on, maybe tomorrow. I don't feel like it today. I'm tired, right? So when you question that, right, you say, am I a procrastinator? I do what I enjoy rather than what I should be done. What should be done. I'm a perfectionist and worry about details or making mistakes. I'm concerned that I'll be judged. Those are all excuses for the procrastinator, right? I get overwhelmed and give up easily, right? I may not be as smart as others. Maybe I don't have what it takes to be in school, right? I'm embarrassed because I put it off so long, so I'll just write it off. No. You're not going to do that, right? I get easily distracted. It's not my fault. Things come up. I have talent, so I shouldn't have to put this much effort in doing well. I'm a certain kind of person and I can't change. I work better under pressure, and it's a great excuse when I don't finish. I lack the discipline and perseverance to complete tasks. Those are things that procrastinators do. So to overcome procrastination, then, and I'm using my PowerPoint from my class Education 1300, and I'm using the book Peak Performance, where I'm getting a lot of my information for you today. I just wanted to give credit to the book because I'm reading some of the stuff off their book as well. So in stopping procrastination, you set your daily priorities. Daily planning is of essence for success. And by the end of the day, as you're checking off, I did this, I went to class, I did this, I paid the bill, I put gas, blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. At the end of the night, when you see your off list, and you might have one thing that you didn't do, it's going to feel so good. God, look at all the things I accomplished today. When you don't make to-do list, well, what did I do? Why do I feel so tired? Well, I think I did this. Well, yeah, I did that. No, know what you did. Know what you did. And give yourself a pat on the back of all the things that you did. Break down again your project into smaller tasks. That's very important. Being organized is part of stopping procrastination. Mañana, ratito. No. Get organized and do what you got to do. Be consistent with your study time. You should really try to set a specific time for study time. Your brain gets used to it. You find a little place in your home where you can study. You go to that same place every day repetitively. The brain gets used to it. They know it's study time. It's amazing how the brain can recognize so many things. And more important also is to support yourself with supportive people. People that say, you go girl, you go guy, you're going to be okay. You can do it. If someone says, you're too dumb, you're not going to make it. You're not going to make it. You're going to say, talk to the hand because I ain't listening because I am going to make it, right? That's what you're going to tell them because you want to be around positive people that are going to lift you up. And you tackle difficult tasks during your high energy time, like I mentioned earlier. That's very, very important. And you develop a positive attitude. You're here. Be happy. Don't be here because your parents are making you here. Be here because you want your own personal growth. You want your education. You have a higher goal. You know what you want to do. You see yourself in that goal, whether it's a nurse, whether it's a mechanic, whether it's an engineer, whether it's a social worker, whatever it may be. See yourself in that role. Keep it vigilant. Keep it very, very fresh in your mind. And that way you'll be able to say, this is what I do, and this is what I have to do today to get there. and reward yourself after you study and everything. Go have a little ice cream, or go watch a little bit of TV, or maybe go do all those other things like the all the stuff that you guys do on your phone. That's your little reward. Well, I got an hour and I can Facebook and see what my friends are doing or whatever. Reward yourself and don't expect perfection. Where none of us are perfect. And it's always okay. You recognize what you didn't do and then you start doing it. You recognize that you passed that, but then you do it. You correct it. That's what's important. Correct it. If you didn't do something, then say, I'm going to do it, and then do it. Just do it. Like Nike says. Is that what Nike says? Just do it. Just do it. Okay. Okay. Any questions so far? Okay. And overcoming obstacles, controlled interruptions. Obstacles could be you have to create an organized place to study, like I mentioned again. Determine your optimal time to study. As you do your weekly schedule, you'll see that there's gobs of time. When is your optimal time? When is the best time that you can study? You might have little gaps, but you're not going to do it there because there's not enough time or whatever it may be. Create a quiet time, place where you can concentrate, study in the library, do first things first, and sometimes you just have to say no. Beep, beep, let's go play some ball. No, I can't right now. I'm studying. Come on, let's go. No, I'm studying. Or somebody might say, let's go to the football game. No, I'm going to have a test. I got to study. You have to learn to say no for you. Okay? Something that has to be because it's important to you to do the things you have to do to succeed in school, right? That's very, very important. Okay. Any questions so far? Okay. No? Okay, let's go on then. Juggling family, school, and jobs. Some of you have family responsibilities. You might have a significant other. You might have children. You might have grandparents or parents that you're helping. So it's important to be flexible, to communicate with your family, telling them I have to study. I have to do these things. This is what I'm going to do. Communicating, you'll get the support. When you just do it and you don't communicate to your family, then they just feel like you're taking advantage. So always letting them know, this is what I'm doing. I have to do this, and then if you have family, delegate, delegate your kids. Sometimes, okay, I have to study for a test today. Pepito, today you're going to make peanut butter and jelly sandwiches for dinner, and you're going to set a peanut butter and jelly sandwich and a fruit, and that's what we're going to have for dinner today. Or whatever, and you've got a child is older, maybe they can open some cans of soup, or maybe they could do a grilled cheese, giving them those priorities, taking out the trash, making their beds, giving others those things that you usually do. And that's what we're talking about if you have family, right? Delegating them and helping them develop their own responsibilities and sense of responsibility too. Finding good daycare. If you don't know, we have daycare here at EPCC. We have a daycare center at Valle Verde, and we have a daycare center at Trans Mountain. Okay, so maybe using our daycare services so that you are able to study and your children are still there in school and the daycare is safe, right? Preparing the night before. That is so very important. When I do the orientation for the nursing students, I tell them how important it is because you've got so much work to do. So if you have family or even for yourself and your significant other, whatever, the night before, get your backpack ready, get everything that's coming and do your to-do list if you can in the evening and know what you're going to do the next day. Set out your clothes, do those kind of things that you could do so that you can be ready fresh in the morning, take your shower, you got your clothes set out, you get ready, you're not rushing, you go to school, you're not rushing, you park, you're able to take a couple of deep breaths, and then get ready for your school time, right? And using your school resources, I can just not emphasize that enough. We're here to serve you. We want you to succeed. So use us. And always communicating if you're working with your employer, letting them know what's going on in your life so that they can be supportive of you. Okay. and always looking into online options. If you have children, you might want to do your online tutoring. You might take online classes. Increasing your physical and emotional energy is very important in keeping yourself balanced. Just taking those few deep breaths, breathing in, holding it for about 5 seconds, and then breathing out. Holding it for about 5 seconds. Doing 2 or 3 of those. You don't have to tell nobody, hey, I'm going to do my deep breaths. You just do it. You just do it for you to calm yourself down. A little exercise to get you energized sometimes, right? And you don't want to exercise right before bedtime because then you'll be all energy and you can't get to sleep, right? Creating a positive time. Make schooling positive. Don't say, no, I'm going to learn. What am I getting out of my government class? What am I getting out of my math class? What am I, there's a purpose for all these classes that you're doing in a 2-year institution. So look at it in a positive way. It's helping you grow as a human being, as a person, okay? And model successful behavior. You model successful behavior to your family, to your friends. That's going to stick with them, and they're going to want to be with you and balance your life. A little bit of everything is good, but always know your priorities and setting those priorities so that you can succeed in your schooling. And then they talk about, there's some websites here, semester calendars. If you want to write down these websites so you can look at a semester calendar, you might even have it in your phone. Management Gurus, as another resource you can have, and a personal timeout is so important, right? Sometimes we just need time out, and we can do that as well. Okay. And so then in reflection, I want you to write down 2 strategies you plan to use from this presentation on time management. Can you please write down 2 strategies on a piece of paper, turn it into your teacher, and tell them you attended this workshop on time management and you wrote down 2 of the strategies. So I'm going to go back a little bit and I'm going to go ahead and show you some strategies that you might want to pick that you quite didn't remember because I talked fast maybe. I hope I didn't, but sometimes we do. Okay. Okay. What strategies can you use? Will you use your calendar? Will you create to-do list? I'm telling you, that's the best thing, guys. I believe in it so much. Are you going to do your tough tasks first? Are you going to break down your project? If you have a research paper, a paper due, I'm going to break it down in smaller tasks and I'm going to have my due dates. What are you going to do? 2 strategies that you learned today, right? Time management strategies go on with studying in short segments throughout the day instead of cramming. Don't cram. You just overload the brain and then you get all flustered and you're all freaked out because you felt you studied and you couldn't remember anything. Get organized. You're in school. You're not in high school. You must get organized. Many teachers don't keep letting you extend due dates and stuff like that. So be ready for that, Be flexible and be patient and persistent, Trying new approaches, creating a new habit. Maybe that's what you want to do out of this workshop, right? And maybe having a weekly planner. I really believe your to-do list and the weekly planner, I swear to you guys, if you do those 2 things, you will succeed in college because you're going to be focused and you're going to be doing the work that you need to do and so forth. Okay. So now I'm going to open it up for questions or sharing. If anybody wants to share what they do, to help them succeed in school, or you want to share what you're going to start doing, I'd like a little bit of conversation with you all. So does anybody want to share anything with us?
I love to do a to-do list. Like so many times has it saved me. Because you forget by the time things come around, and so having it, because I have a planner, and so I have a to-do list for each day, because I'll go through the syllabus at the beginning of the semester and put all the due dates in, and then sometimes the instructor forgets to remind you have an assignment due next class or something, it's so much more helpful.
Yes. Stephanie says that she writes down a list of tasks that need to be done in each class to help prioritize. That's a very good thing, Stephanie. Thank you for sharing. Anybody else? Okay. So keep in mind in the chat, they give you some links for services, and so look at the links in the chat and use some of these services and activities that are going on and be a part of us. Be a part of us, okay? A ver qué dice Sam. Sam dice, I do the breathing technique through my smartwatch and it does help when I am stressed out. It does. I do it all the time. It's just like a habit. You just got to take your deep breaths. I was real nervous about doing this workshop, and I've been in the college for 35 years, and I was still a little nervous, but I took my deep breaths. I go, just give it your best, and that's what I did. I use sticky notes a lot, dice Clara. Yeah. I use a weekly planner and want to start creating a to-do list for big tasks. Very good, Alexis. Yeah, very good. Anybody else? Okay. Yes, bravo. Yes. I use calendar alerts. Yes, Adrian, that's very good. Ding, 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 ding. What's that about? What's that about? Oh, okay, I gotta go to do this. Yep. I like that. Yes. I write down everything in my calendar so I don't forget to do things. That's right, Sophia. Very important. I will look at my calendar. I do my to-do list every day. Take breaks while learning something new, says Adrian. Yep. Little breaks. When you study in intervals of 2 hours, but you study for about 25 minutes because of brain waves. And then you give yourself a 5-minute break. You go get yourself another iced tea, or you go get your soda, or you go to the rest, whatever you need to, a 5-minute break, not to go socialize, a 5-minute break, and you come back and you stay focused. That's real important. When you're studying, okay, because of the brain waves. You say, I'm going to study for 3 hours straight. Well, the brain is going like that. So when it's up, it's picking it up. But when it's down, it's not picking it up. So you got to give yourself little breaks. Breaks and deep breaths and to-do list. Oh, my God. You will do fine if you do these things. Anything else? Okay. Well, I thank you for your time and having me here with you today. And if you need anything, my name is Pat Durama. I'm at the Mission Campus. My number, there it is, 831-7092. And you make contact with me. You want to talk a little bit about how to get started with this stuff, I'll gladly meet with you over the phone, like a virtual. You come and visit me here at Mission, whatever. And you've got my email address. You can email me as well. And so I think that's good. Thank you, Adrian, for saying it was an awesome presentation. Do appreciate that. Okay. So, Pat, is this where I sign off?
Yes, ma'am. Now I'm here to take over at any point while I'm closing up. If they have a question for you, they can still ask. I'd like to thank
I don't need to leave anywhere. I mean, I'm in no hurry.
Awesome. I would like to take a moment to thank you for presenting for us today. And thank you to the audience for joining us today. So before we let you go, I'm going to go ahead and invite you all to next week's sessions. So give me just a second to pull that up. Next week for Tejano Virtual Events at 11 a.m. in this room, we will be hosting Happy Math Hour. For Math 1314 and Math 1324, we'll be going over the Exam 1 review. And then at the 1 o'clock session, we'll be going over note-taking with Rose Galindo. And so we hope you'll join us next week. And we'll hope you enjoy your weekend. Thank you so much for coming today.